The climate trap is a situation that we find ourselves in. We are trapped by past and continuing behaviors that are harmful to the environment and to our natural resources. We all must make changes in our behavior to address the impacts of climate change. The climate trap is a recurring theme throughout the discussion of climate change and groundwater recharge. Groundwater is an essential and critical freshwater resource. The world's food supply and water security depend on it. It's essential to supporting ecosystems and for human adjustment to climate change. The water crisis in America is one of quality and quantity. There are pollutant concerns as well as water usage issues. Aquifers are drying up. Groundwater is overpumped to meet demand. As for water conservation, this is not top of mind for most people and businesses. Groundwater recharge is a method of replenishing the aquifers. Climate change directly impacts groundwater recharge. We see an example of a water recharge basin in the Coachella Valley on this slide. The issue. Water is a shared, finite, and rechargeable resource. Humans and wildlife all need water to survive. Agriculture, our biggest user of groundwater, utilizes water to grow food. Industry needs the resource to make products. Energy production requires water for our electricity needs. The tragedy of the commons is the conflict of short-term interests and needs of individuals and the long-term welfare of society, as this graphic shows. Short-term self-interest can lead to tragedy for everyone. Water conservation needs to be top of mind for our policymakers. Capitalism cannot drive the water conservation strategy. Climate trap behaviors, along with climate change, only serve to continue a cycle of inefficient and harmful water usage. There is no holistic public policy on water usage. Important terms. Here are some of the terms we need to be familiar with in having this discussion. Climate change. Long-term changes, natural and anthropogenically caused in weather patterns and temperature. Climate change impacts include significant drought conditions, warming temperatures, extreme weather events, sea level rise, warming oceans, and species loss. Groundwater is the source of water stored in the earth and aquifers, a water reserve that helps to supplement surface water resources in meeting demand. Groundwater recharge. Replenishment of water in subsurface through natural or anthropogenic means. This figure shows a typical groundwater basin, which generally includes an aquifer or possibly stacked aquifers with reasonably defined boundaries laterally and a clearly defined bottom. Usable groundwater storage is significant and estimated at more than 8 times larger than the combined storage capacity from all of California's major state reservoirs. This storage capacity helps to store excess surface water during rainy periods. This next figure presents a visual of the significant water storage capacity of aquifers compared to snowpack and reservoirs. The state of water. There is no enforceable public policy or regulations regarding water usage. Significant numbers of California's groundwater basins are in a critical overdraft state, meaning that annually the average amount of groundwater extracted is larger than the average annual long-term water supply to a given basin. Overdraft conditions usually lead to surface water depletion as well, and even to groundwater quality degradation and land subsidence. This figure presents a current view of California's groundwater basins that are in a state of critical overdraft, that is the pink shading areas. Those areas also comprise some of California's most productive and fertile agricultural lands. The dark blue line on this figure, terrestrial water storage, comprises groundwater and surface water along with water held with snow and within the soil. Groundwater is the key component to view as its downward trajectory is unmistakable. Climate change impacts will increase the rate of decline if proactive mitigating measures are not implemented. Contributing to the problem. Climate change impacts, as seen in this graphic, include significant drought conditions, warming temperatures, extreme weather events, sea level rise, warming oceans, and species loss. The Earth is sinking as a result of climate change. That sinking is known as subsidence. Humans cause subsidence through overextraction of groundwater, as well as through extraction of oil, natural gas, or minerals by mining and fracking ventures. The cycle of groundwater being overpumped by agriculture due to climate change impacts further adds to the climate trap and creates a higher likelihood of subsidence, especially in clay soils. Recommendations. We must reduce water demand and increase water supply. We need a national public policy for water. We need regulations to manage and monitor water usage along with water quality levels. We need an education campaign to reach out to all stakeholders that use water. Managed aquifer recharge, MAR, projects are important and replicate the natural process in which winter rains soak into the ground and replenish water above and below ground. These projects boost the overall health of aquifers and nearby rivers and streams. Groundwater banking is another such process to capture water, in which water is intentionally injected or percolated strictly for later withdrawal. MAR will only go so far. Behaviors need to change. Farmers cannot continue to overpump and deplete aquifers. This is a complex and critical issue in which all stakeholders must come together and work in unison to conserve water and to increase water supply. My references start on slide 7. References continue on slide 8. The last page of references are on slide 9. My image sources are listed on slide 10. Thank you for watching.